Hi, my name is Christabel, and I'm the broker for Realty One Group Beyond in Clearwater. Well, if you're a real estate professional and you are worried about all these lawsuits going on right now, I'm going to emphasize I'm not giving any legal advice here, and I'm going to give a disclaimer about a mile long at the end of the video. You can download a 15-page version of it online if you like. But basically, my take on that is that the real estate industry is not dying. And realtors are not going anywhere because realtors add value to both buyers and sellers. And this is a professional service industry and we're providing a service. The reason for the lawsuits, in my opinion, again, these are just my personal opinions, and not those of the brokerage, not those of Realty One Group, not those of anyone else, not a legal opinion, all that fun stuff. Anywho, my personal opinion on that is that the reason for the lawsuits stems from an unclear way to present how realtors are paid. The reason that there's an issue is that sellers are claiming that they were forced to pay compensation to an agent they had never met, an agent who might not have been extremely competent, and so forth. And they were told that they had to make this payment to the buyer's agent when they were selling their home and hiring a listing agent. The real problem here, in my opinion, is that it wasn't made clear that the seller actually is not hiring the buyer's agent at all. The seller is only hiring the listing agent. And the listing agent and the seller agree on compensation that is paid to the listing agent. What the listing agent then elects to offer through the MLS to the buyer's agent is more of a disclosure issue than it is a commitment by the seller. The seller has already committed to paying the listing agent the full amount of the commission. The buyer's agent is then offered a compensation by the listing agent because that's what's being done in the industry. But it shouldn't be unclear that the payment that the seller is making, all of it is to the agent that they are hiring, the listing agent. Now, there's a lot of contracts that were unclear on this. It's not helpful that the title companies cut the check directly to the buyer's agent and the seller can see that that payment is being split before it goes to the listing agent. But I do think that with relatively small changes, these issues can be cleared up and that there's not going to be some sort of big revolution on what happens in the industry and how agents are getting paid. It's certainly avoidable. And the buyers, the listing agent is going to have the option to say, I'm not going to offer anything to the buyer's agent. I'm going to offer 0%. And if the seller is comfortable with that strategy, then that's fine. I don't see it as more of a disclosure issue than disclosing to the seller that I am going to spend money on staging your home, or I commit to spending $200 a month on online advertising until your home sells, or any other type of disclosure that says, hey, this is what I commit to doing so that I'm going to be able to sell your home quickly and for top dollar. Offering the buyer's agent a compensation does not contradict with any sort of other marketing activity that involves spending by the listing agent and is properly disclosed to the seller. And maybe it's only disclosed because you want the seller to know that you are undertaking these activities and you're doing your best to sell the home, and you're creating a commitment. Where it got a little bit wonky, I feel, is where it wasn't entirely clear that this was an activity that the listing agent was undertaking, and it wasn't mandatory, and that payment that they were making to the buyer's agent wasn't something they were forcing the seller to do. The seller would have to pay the listing agent the agreed amount regardless. Anyway, that's my 2 cents on it. I don't see the world falling apart, but I do feel like some changes may be necessary in the wording of listing agreements in several states. Hopefully the local associations and NAR will address that in due course. I know they're thinking about it. So that is my conclusion on the topic.